Yo, what's up, you guys? Welcome back to Second Take. I'm Vishwa Salem, and I'm here with my co host Saf Khan. And before we get into today's video regarding the Chicago Bulls and the draft, I just want to give a quick note about what we're going to be doing going forward. Going forward, we're going to be sticking with solely NBA and Chicago Bulls content. This is due to a variety of reasons, primarily because we just feel like it's much easier to create. You guys are going to enjoy it much more. And flat out, it's just much better if we stick to this content. So without delay, let's get into the video. Firstly, before we get into the draft, I really want to say congrats to the Bulls for hiring Billy Donovan as the next head coach. I really do think the Bulls have a really legitimate chance at the playoffs next year, especially how good Donovan could be at developing our young stars. But before we say anything any further, I want to say that both of us, it's not that we didn't want Donovan as a coach, but it's more that we didn't think Billy Donovan would be interested in a rebuilding team like the Bulls instead of a team with that many would say have better young talent like the New Orleans Pelicans per se, or even the 76ers. So we were wrong. Donovan could be a really great coach for the Bulls, but at the moment we just thought that Kenny Atkinson or any assistant coach would be a better choice. If you take a look at the Bulls' current roster and what Billy Donovan's going to be working, you're going to see Zach LaVine, Lauri Markkanen, Wendell Carter, Kobe White, Daniel Gafford, as well as Otto Porter for veteran presence and Thaddeus Young. I definitely feel like in the draft of this year, the Bulls should be looking for a guy that can be easily developed in a year or maybe even shorter, and maybe even slide into the starting lineup after. There are many guys I feel like that can cut the deal, but there's a few in particular I feel like could be a great addition for the Bulls. On the contrary, it could also be pretty beneficial if the Bulls draft a bench player to lead the second unit, but in my opinion, especially as high as drafting at the fourth pick, the Bulls should definitely look for at least a starting caliber player, if not a star. Now we're going to be examining the level of competition in the draft that exists, and we're going to be examining guys like LaMelo Ball, James Wiseman, Anthony Edwards, Denny Avdia, Obi Toppin, and other guys outside the top five in the mock drafts like Killian Hayes, Tyrese Halliburton, Onyeka Okongwu. Although many people would think that this year's draft has little to no talent besides LaMelo, James Wiseman, and Anthony Edwards, I could actually see where they're coming from, but I certainly believe that there are a lot of pieces in this draft worthy of some big contributions, even though they might not be star players. And I feel like the Bulls, they shouldn't feel any discouragement of drafting any of these guys. First up, we got Anthony Edwards, who I believe is going to go first to the Timberwolves unless they make some sort of trade, and that's going to involve the other team that they trade to drafting LaMelo Ball. Anthony Edwards, I feel like he has such a great skill set, being so strong at that shooting guard position. He can put the ball on the floor, create his own offense, shoot the three ball pretty decently, as well as attack the rim, and he has some two-way potential. Although he's such a great player, and by chance if he slips to the Bulls, which is doubtful, I still don't think Chicago should draft him because I would still trust Zach LaVine over him, and I don't think Edwards will be as good as LaVine is right now. And simply, I feel like the Bulls should just stick to LaVine as their franchise player instead of drafting Edwards. So next up, we got James Wiseman, who I believe is going to go number 2 to the Golden State Warriors. Although many people think the Warriors aren't very high on big men, I still feel like his talent would be too much to pass up for them, as he really represents talents with guys like Anthony Davis, Kevin Garnett, or Chris Bosh. And I feel like his skill set is perfect for a center in the modern day NBA. And he can also shoot the ball as well. But I do believe the Bulls would draft him if he would be available at number 4. It could be possible regarding his injury history, but I would personally prefer him over Wendell Carter, but I doubt the Bulls would feel the same way as I. With the third pick, I definitely think that the Charlotte Hornets are going to take LaMelo Ball, and there is absolutely no chance they're going to pass him on unless they make some really stupid decision, as LaMelo Ball is a once in a generation talent playing the point guard position at 6'7". He's pretty much a future star, if you would agree with me. And I definitely feel like LaMelo would be the Bulls' best pick if he was available at number 4, although this is also really doubtful. But I couldn't imagine a better situation than LaMelo Ball and Zach LaVine in the backcourt. LaMelo's going to be throwing dimes and lobs to Wendell, and he could be dishing out assists to Lowry on the three-point line, as well as having a lob city of their own with Zach LaVine scoring. And Kobe White could be kind of like the sixth man if this happens, but once again, only if the Bulls get some type of luck. LaMelo Ball is pretty much not going to go to the Bulls, as Charlotte's not going to pass him on. So now that we've covered the top 3 picks that are pretty much most likely going to be in the top 3 of this year's draft, we're going to be talking about more of the realistic options for Chicago and how they're going to be able to contribute to our young roster. And here is who my ideal pick is going to be. With the 4th pick in the 2020 NBA draft, in my opinion, the Chicago Bulls should select Deni Avdija of Maccabi Tel Aviv, Israel. There are many reasons I feel like Deni is the perfect pick for Chicago, and many of you guys may be expecting this. However, there are a lot of people that think Deni's going to turn out to be a bust, similar to a player like Mario Hezonja. I could honestly see where you guys are coming from, but in my opinion, I would rather take the chances on Deni's star potential than actually believe that he would be a bust. First of all, take a look at Deni as he's playing in the Pro League. He's playing among grown men rather than college athletes currently. Deni also manages to play pretty well among these guys, and his playmaking and his high IQ, he has a natural feel for the game. These qualities are something you can't really teach. And in my opinion, if you look at the Chicago Bulls starting lineup of Kobe White, Zach LaVine, and Otto Porter, Markkanen, and Carter, if Deni Avdija is drafted by the Bulls, he can learn from Otto Porter the first year, and then the keys could be handed to him after he gets the starting lineup opportunity. Once you have the scoring from Kobe White and Zach LaVine, I would even say it's a luxury having a facilitator at that small forward position, especially having the 6'9" build that he does. Although he does have many weaknesses, such as his lack of sharpshooting ability, as he also did shoot 58% from the free throw line, I definitely feel like with Billy Donovan's going to be able to coach this era up, and Deni could actually be a decent volume shooter with the Bulls. In addition to this, another weakness highlighted by Avdija is also his lack of quickness on the defensive end, but in my opinion, Deni's going to slide in just fine at that small forward position. Many would think he would be a stretch 4. I actually disagree that because of his playmaking and his ball handling ability, he would be a perfect modern day small forward, similar to a guy in the league, Luka Doncic. And that's where I'm going to get into after this. Many of you guys may be calling me crazy if you're going to compare him to Luka Doncic. But in my opinion, I don't think Deni's going to be as great as Doncic, but he definitely has a lot of similarities with him. In addition to that, many of you guys may also be wondering why his stats aren't the best, as Deni did only average 13 points, about 6 rebounds, and 3 assists, and those aren't the best stats, especially for someone that's going to be picked in the top 5. In my opinion, these stats aren't the best, but if you look at the situation Deni is in, his coach isn't even handing him the keys so that the team could be his team. In addition to this, if Deni were actually handed the keys to the starting lineup and so that it could really be his team, like Doncic was, Denny could be producing whole new different numbers right now as well. If you also add the fact that his father also played pro basketball, Denny also has the athletic genes, proven that another fact why Denny's also going to be probably a star in the NBA. In addition to that, I would also prefer Denny as the Bulls pick rather than another wing like Devin Vassell or Isaac Okoro, because unlike those guys, Denny is going to stand out in many categories. He can do a bit of everything: finishing, shooting, playmaking, defense. And if the Bulls were to draft Okoro or Vassell, that would just be an ordinary pick. It's not like either of those guys have a chance to be a star, in my opinion. They don't look like pretty great players in the future. So Denny Avdia is the most ideal pick as well. To add in one last fact, Denny recently also said that he actually wants to play for the Chicago Bulls and has a lot of interest in that team. He quoted that the Chicago Bulls are his favorite team, and this once again shows how a guy that wants to play for the Bulls is going to get his opportunity if the Bulls give it to him, and he is bound to put in the work to succeed, as he also released a workout footage of him on Instagram recently as well. So therefore, in my opinion, although Denny Avdia has a lot of weaknesses, his 6'9" ability of jack of all trades, he can do a bit of everything. That's exactly what the Bulls need at the small forward position, and he could even turn out to be a star for the Bulls. Another option for the Bulls is Killian Hayes with the fourth pick, a 6'4" point guard out of the German national team. In my opinion, Hayes is a terrific player. He's a terrific shot creator, can create his own shot. He's a great playmaker that can fit in well with the scoring punch of LaVine and Markkanen and Kobe White. And he's also, once again, playing with grown men. And I don't think the Bulls fans should be disappointed if the Bulls take him. Hayes has also been linked to the Bulls a lot in workouts and interviews. He's also shown that he's said that he can be a great fit in Chicago. I would prefer the Bulls take Denny Avdia, but Bulls fans shouldn't be that disappointed if they end up taking Killian Hayes. Another option for the Bulls would be Onyeka Okongwu, the 6'9" big man out of USC. In my opinion, Okongwu is a great choice for the Bulls as he's a really athletic big, but I don't think the Bulls need another big, as Wendell Carter and Daniel Gafford represent a lot of qualities that Okongwu have. If we didn't have either of those guys, Okongwu would be a perfect fit for Chicago. Tyrese Halliburton could also be a great option for Chicago, but in my opinion, I would rather have Hayes over him if we were to take a guard. His shot is too set, and there's nothing really that special about his game, so I would pass him on as well. Now we're going to head on to our co-host Saf Khan to see his opinion on the 2020 NBA Draft. What are your thoughts on who the Bulls pick should be?
LaMelo Ball should be our top pick if he is available at number 4. But then again, with his type of talent, it is highly doubtful that he would be there at number 4 for the Bulls to take. So my pick for the Bulls at number 4 in the 2020 draft is Obi Toppin. Some things you probably want to know about Obi Toppin before I discuss the fact how he contribute to help the Bulls become better is that he is 6'9", he is a power forward, and before the 2018-2019 season, he was known as nobody. Everyone, GMs were saying that he would be like a G League player max. He ended up having a good career at Dayton and turned out to be one of the top 5 prospects in this upcoming draft. Why I think he will contribute really well with the Bulls is because the Bulls' big men are good, but I really feel like this guy has a chance of developing faster than anyone we have right now. Toppin also shoots about 40% from 3, and that's something that Wendell did in college too, but once he came to the NBA, he's been shooting 18 to 22%, which is really poor. So if Toppin provides this type of shooting, he can be like a big man like Brook Lopez. The comparison I feel like that very much fits him is Mari Stoudemire, who also turned out to be a really good player in the NBA. going to 6 All-Stars. The best thing, in my opinion, for Toppin is that he's an amazing screen setter, and the fact that if he runs out with Levine, who with pick and roll, I think that could be a deadly combination in the future for the Bulls.
Well, thanks, Saf. In my opinion, Obi Toppin, as great of a player he was at Dayton, I really think that his weaknesses are gonna override his strengths, especially heading into a poor defensive team like Chicago. Toppin struggles mightily in defensive ends. If the Bulls play him at the small forward, he's going to be a bit too slow to keep up with the quicker wings of today's game. He's also not going to be able to defend the bigger power forwards as he is a bit undersized as well. Well, we all have our different opinions. I feel like no matter whoever we discussed can have a great impact on the Bulls. So there you guys have it. That's both me and my co-host Saf's opinions on who the Bulls should take in the 2020 draft. The Bulls, personally, I feel like they're going to have plenty of options. And at number 4, they're all obviously going to get a great player that can contribute heavily to this team to make them a really great team next season. Comment down below who do you think the Bulls should draft next season. And with that being said, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please smash that like button and subscribe. I promise you will not regret subscribing. We have some really great heat dropping soon, and peace.